I don't think I've ever played a game quite like Cruelty Squad. Sure, I could break it down into an elevator pitch, saying things like, it's Deus Ex meets a Red Pilot Sun video, or it's LSD Dream Emulator meets I, Divine Cybermancy. But as always with comparisons like that, Cruelty Squad is much more than the sum of its ideas. So let's start with the most basic idea of what it is. Cruelty Squad is a Sewerpunk immersive sim, where you play as a recently unemployed loner whose only means of wages in this hyper late-stage capitalistic society is to kill. Each stage drops you into an increasingly sprawling, complex map, gives you a target or two to kill, and says, have at it. You can bust in Rambo style and just clear your way straight to the target, or find alternative routes. Sewers, vents, hopping over fences, you know the drill. It has that same feeling of learning through repetition and eventual mastery that I love in the modern Hitman trilogy. The map design in each level is one of its biggest strengths. Some of these levels are downright massive, with so many secrets, hidden areas, little jokes just tucked away. Don't just beat a level and move on. Try it again and try to explore every single inch. So we gotta talk about the visuals before we move forward too much more, as it will likely make or break for most people. From the way too large health UI to the confusing menu layout that actually had me stuck on the tutorial level because I could not understand for the life of me how to select the next level. It's this. This game is just flat out fucking disgusting. And that's a good thing. This particular brand of unpolished surrealist comedy that has come out of the internet as of late is one of my favorites, and Cruelty Squad nails that balancing act of a nonsensical world that still has logic to its humor, not simply throwing out weird randomness just to be quirky. I'm not sure I've ever played a game that had me bouncing between screaming laughing and screaming in true abject terror and dread this much.
Oh god! Oh, it's pizza face! He's got a pizza fucking face! I have no bullets.
It's a game that commands your attention, quite literally in the case of the enemy my friends and I have taken to calling Pizza Face, who repeatedly forces your camera to zoom in on him until he's dead. You'll find tons of gags and little bits of humor and world building hidden in the levels, but you also have to talk to the NPCs and actually read these painfully typefaced mission descriptions to get the full picture of the world. With the malls of the 80s and the 90s now described as ancient, this is a far-flung future where the culture surrounding the Y2K era stagnated and the worst eventualities of our hyper-consumerism-driven economy have come to pass. My friend wanted me to put in the script that he saw this coming before it was spelt out in the game, so here you go. The game is very topical, if on the nose here. You'll be sent after pharmaceutical execs who spend all their funding on Chunko Pops, or the CEO of a private space company being taken out for making employees' jobs too safe. It all feels very much like if Paul Verhoeven grew up going on 4chan and made games instead of movies. These mecha cops in particular remind me of something out of RoboCop. A lot of the humor also comes from its insane gibs and physics. I'll always respect a game that disregards logic for the more fun option. Just like all good games, there's a dedicated kick button that sends enemies flying. And this is the unupgraded version. At this point, you'd be forgiven for thinking this is just some shitpost of a game like Soda Drinker Pro, but there's really a good game here as well. I've already mentioned the map design to you, but in true immersive sim tradition, this is helped by numerous augments and equipment you can get, like a high jump to help with platforming, grenades to blow up certain walls, and a double jump made by shitting out your feet. I really like how all these augments subvert the usual clean, transhumanist tech aesthetic that we're used to seeing with the disgusting biotech. A personal favorite is the CSIJ Level 5 biosuit, this Neon Genesis looking monstrosity with no apparent downsides. I highly recommend getting the grenade and some sort of jump enhancer early on to really open up the levels more. Having more options is always good because unless you're a god gamer, you're not going to want to Rambo every situation. The shooting is... I'm hesitant to say that it's bad because I'm always willing to accept that I'm just bad at it. But look at this shit. Also, the revolver spins before you shoot instead of after. This isn't really a complaint, I love that it does that, but god does it make it hard to use. But always remember, this is an immersive sim. If you keep getting your brains blasted out going one way, there's almost certainly another way to take with less brain blasting. Always keep that in mind because this game is fucking hard. Like, you know, that one game, Hard. That game I don't want to say because it's always brought up when people talk about difficulty. But to be fair, the hardest level in the game by a wide margin is a poison swamp, so I feel like that's intentional. The game will fuck with you a lot, actually intentionally killing you in some segments, which usually make me mad in any other game, but here, you just gotta laugh at it. Except that goddamn swamp level, I hated this part. Lastly, the music. It's solid. Lots of atmospheric and experimental sounding stuff. It's not bad by any means, but there are a few notable tracks that stand out so much that I wish the rest of the OST was up to this level. Other levels, when replaying, I find myself putting on my own music more often. The latest content update did add more music, so there could be more to come in the future. Cruelty Squad is still in early access, so we can expect more content to be added. However, as should always be your rule, only buy this game if you're comfortable with the amount of content currently available. For me, I had a complete blast playing this game, and I would highly, highly recommend it for anyone who likes this kind of humor.